yarn. This is an absolute catastrophe. I've got a split in my piece of wood. What shall I do? Well, normally I say sod it and do absolutely diddly squat. But for the purposes of the video, I want to demonstrate to you how you can repair this split in this piece of wood. Now, this is a rustic piece of wood. It's a very old piece of wood, that is. Over 100 years old, from an old workbench, that it is. You can see the old leg mortise, that is, you see. Anyway, what we're going to do, we're going to do a thing called a bow tie. No, it's got nothing to do with the craze. No, we're going to do a bow tie in here. It's a bit like a double-ended dildo. Dovetail, that it is, yeah. Don't use this on the missus, not on her split. On her split. Oh, crikey. Take a breather. Well, in this video, I'm going to show you how you can repair your split in your piece of wood with a bow tie. That was a bit more normal, wasn't it? Anyway, I'm going to bring you in nice and close. That I am. And we're going to repair this together, yeah? And we're not going to be using any power tools. No, we're going to be using hand tools. That we are, yeah. Oh, are you excited? Oh, you should be. And if you aren't, well, you can just write a letter. That's what you can do. So, there's the split, okay? And we're going to do a thing called a dovetail, or a bow tie. It's like a double-ended bow tie. That's what we're going to do. So, first of all, we have to ascertain how big does the bow tie need to be, okay? And where are we going to place it? Now, some of you can say, well, near the end, there's a lot closest you can get. Well, that's a silly idea. Don't do that, no. Bring it in a bit, okay? Now, the reason for that is when we cut this dovetail, we're going to chop that into our piece of wood, we'll have vulnerable areas on the end here, on this end grain, and lumps will fall out. We don't want that, no. So you need to bring it in a little bit. So it's probably around here. I think somewhere around there we're going to be putting our dovetail. And what that'll do is, it will prevent that split, okay? Continuing along there. It will stop it in its tracks. Drum roll. Well, there you go. So that's what we're going to do in this video. Let's make it a little bit easier to see. I'll bring it closer, a little bit further. Oh, that's better. Okay. So the first thing we've got to do is, we've ascertained where it's going to go. We've got to ascertain how big it's got to be. Because if it ain't big enough, it ain't actually going to do its job. And if it goes too far this way, it's going to be too close to the edge. Now, I've already made a decision, an executive decision, that I want it this big, okay? That big. All right, so I'm going, between those two lines, I'm now going to measure how, well, the middle. At the moment, it's 85 mils, it's about 42 mils, about there, okay? And I'm going to eyeball it. It's not critical because we're not, you know, sort of a joint, but it's not really a joint, it's not a dovetail joint. All right, like so. And then I'm going to think to myself, oh, where's the middle? I'm going to say to myself, oh, it's about there, I think that's about the middle. All right, so I'm sort of winging it. Right? I'm only making one of these, you see. I'm not batching it or anything like that. I want that to be the full width of this piece of wood. So I'm going to think to myself, ooh, what sort of angle are we going to go for? Oh, I wonder. Well, how much, yeah, ooh, and we're going to go there, maybe, to there. Is it going to be too much? Well, I'm going to say 10 mil in. All right, so it locks it in on each side here. Now, you could use a bevel, if you like, a bevel gauge, which is one of these, okay? And you could work out on that and say, okay, then I'm going to use a bevel gauge, and I'm going to say, okay, go like that to the edge then and tighten it up, and I think that's probably about right. I'm quite happy at that. And then what you can do is, you can then eyeball that up to wherever you put on the end there, or, you know, or wherever anyway, and eyeball that up on there, so, and use that as your guide point. So, one way of doing it, I suppose. I'm just going to do it like this. I am. I'm just going to use my rule. Because it doesn't matter if these aren't 100% exactly in the right place, you know, identical. As long as someone there, no one's going to notice. No. We're too pedantic about stuff sometimes. We worry too much about it. Oh, it's got to be perfect. It's got to be absolutely perfect. No, it hasn't. You know, if it looks right, it is right. So if it's visually, it looks, you know, I've done it on the wrong side now. I've got to go to that corner. See, it's the mistakes you make when you're recording a video and you don't intend to actually, you know, this is real time. I don't intend to edit the video. No. So we're just going to, it's real. Keep it real, you know. So you say, well, we want this bit, we want this chunky bit in the middle. Now, you don't need to make it as big as that, but I am. I want it big. Or do I? I'm sure I make it smaller. I might make it smaller, actually. Oh, crikey, decision. So, there's a visual thing, all right? I think it looks too fat. It reminds me of myself, and I don't like it, because I'm fat. So, I'm going to put that there like so. I think, is that a better size? All right, you know? I think that's a better size. I'll get rid of that as well. All right, and we're going to cut that by hand. That's it. So, that's the bit, that's the keeper, all right? Right, I'm not talking about dead skin, that peeling off and you can put in a little tin, like, I don't know, what's his name is, gold, whatever his name. I like gold! I'll put that down there like so. Alright, now I'm just going to cut this out. And I ain't going to do anything special. I'm going to literally put it in the vice down here, because I can. Bring it a bit closer. Oh, there you go. Alright, what should we use? We could use the... Shall I use a pull saw? Oh, let's use a Japanese pull saw there. I'm not a lover of them, but you know, I need to sharpen my other one, my Western saw. It's not a good angle for this, to be fair. Oh, I don't like these saws. No, it's too high up in the vice for a start. You get that old vibration there. Good vibrations. Oh, that's better. Oh, what's he get going? You alright? No, if I hadn't made a pledge, I'd be using, I don't know, the band saw, for instance, to cut this, or scroll saw, or be cutting out with the rout and the jig, maybe. Either way, I'll be using machines. But because I've already said I'm not going to, okay, that's the pull saw. Let's try a different saw. Could you use a tenon saw? Back saw here, a Western back saw. This is one by Tyzac. But it does need a sharpen, but I do prefer it. I like the stiff tool. I do. How about you? You like a stiff tool? Oh my god, I like that so much better. We'll carry on using that. This is way better. Right, let's get in there. You see, you've got two cuts. That's the Western cut, and that's the pull saw cut. I think the Western cut is finer. Yeah, that looks a bit jagged. Probably my poor technique, because I'm not somebody who really uses Japanese pull saws, so it's probably partly because my technique is poor. Because when you see them, what they make with these tools and stuff, they make some wonderful things, don't they? The Japanese, all those funny joints and stuff. Aganami, what they call it, I don't know what they call it, some weird name. Make sure we get in there. It's like origami, it is. Nearly there. I'm a bit off my line, but it doesn't actually matter. No, don't matter. I'm going to here. It's a bit better if you could see where I'm actually cutting, wouldn't it? What I'm saying is where my lines are, and the fact that I'm going all screw-if on it. Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut it off there next. La 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 la. My bad. Now, this does need a sharpen, it has to be said. Oh my giddy aunt, it's so much nicer to use. It actually has a handle, proper handle, unlike a stick. Yeah, that's like a stick. That's like a handle for like a real saw. I have to admit, I do like the Japanese pull saw sometimes for some jobs. I just prefer my Western saw. And my back saw. God, I need to lose some weight. You know, it's so disconcerting watching yourself in the camera. Oh, don't do it, Alice. You're fat. It's too upsetting. I wasn't always fat. No. I got fat after I ate too much food. And now I'm fat. Belies me. Oh, there we go. Alright, we've got our little bow tie. That we have. Now we can clean it up with a chisel if you like. And decide where's the top and where's the bottom. You can see where the cut lines go there. So I can do with actually cleaning my saw cuts up. Across there like so. Clean that one up with a chisel. And I'll do that there with a chisel to make sure that I'm basically remove all the material. Because I need to get this sort of reasonably tidy before I actually start chopping it in the wood. I've got to back cut it a little bit. That's going to be the back. So that's the bit that's going to go down. So I'm just using this old Sorby chisel. That's reasonably sharp. Da, 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 da. Now I've got this at the moment. I have this in one of them cheap ass, what do they call them? Silver lines to make. Voices, they ain't the best, I'll tell you, they're terrible. They're so poorly made. The machining on them was awful. But, you know, it was like 20 quid. I only got it for the purpose of these videos. I so much prefer using my record voice when doing this sort of work. But this works out better with the videos. Let's bring it down a little bit so you can see a bit more what's going on. Alright, so I'm literally just shaping it, and I'm going to cut that back, cut it a little bit. So even a touch. The reason, partly reason for that is so when I actually drive it into its little mortise, it will tighten up as I go. Just back cutting just a little bit, only a touch. I think that'll do. That'll do. So I've now those two faces, those two dovetails. Well, a dovetail there and a dovetail there, where they intersect there, they're in line with each other. Yeah, and that one there, you can see that one there, I've got the saw cut skewiff, where I was using the Western saw, and then I was using the Japanese pull saw. So I'll just trim this side down until it meets that cut. Yeah, the opposite cut. Now, whenever you use a chisel like this, don't go push hard as you can. You know, just controlled motions. You know, if you are going to be using little impacts like I were there, never try and impact it past where you go. It's just like you just making contact. Otherwise, you're at risk of cutting yourself. You don't want to do that. Not really, do you? Or do you? You might be into that. Some people are. It's not my thing, though. I don't like blood when it's my own. That's looking better. A bit more, maybe. That's the back, you see. So make sure I mark that as that's the back. That's the face. A bit more on that one. You want to clean them up with a chisel anyway, because the saw cuts will provide you with a rather jagged line when we do the marking out. It doesn't really matter too much, because considering what we're actually going to be cutting this into, which is very, how to put it, lumpy. Now it's going to be a bit tricky actually cutting this into that wood, into the actual when we're doing the repair, because it's not very the surface isn't very hard. It's got a lot of wormholes in it and old patina and stuff like that, so that's not going to help. There you go. That'll do that. I think. Let's have a look. Yeah, I think that'll do it. End's okay. I'm just going to clean up that a little bit. I could do that with. Be very careful because of the way the grain's going here and there. That grain's more in line with that tail. So if I plane that, I'm better off doing it from this face here. Hello, Pandora. How are you? Just going to gently clean up with the hand plane. Oh, it's a terrible voice. Keep tight. Flip it around so I don't end up chipping that lump out. Oh. There's a little trick you can do. I ain't here at the moment, but if you've got a little spray bottle with some water in it, that'll the vice will grip better. Strange as it sounds, but it does. I think for 20 quid it's not a bad vice really, but you can't compare it to my big old record. I know you've got people use leg vices and stuff, don't they? But I have got a leg vice screw there. I might make one. And the reason why I do this is bring the actual it higher up, you see, because I don't always want my workpiece high. But this is just, I've got this tiny little bench thing on top of my bench to help me actually make. That's the back. So just got to make sure that the back faces are back cut a little bit, which they are. That's good. That'll do it, I think. All right, next stage. Oh, these things are floppy. It's limp. Right. Oh, here it is. All right, it's on this side now, look. Best way of putting that in. Probably there. Right, so what I want to do is place this dovetail in there like so. This bow tie, dovetail bow tie. It's dovetail shaped, like, you know, sort of fish tail even. So that's going to be put in there like so. Now, the problem here comes is when you try and mark this out and it's going to slide about. Now, one way is you can actually put a bit of glue on there, you cyanoacrylate out with a bit of activate and glue it down temporarily while you do it, or you can grab a clamp. I think that's what I'm going to do. See the clamp? See it there? I've done a video about this. This is a little inner tube. It's like a condom on the handle. And it helps you get more grip. It does. Yeah, good in that, eh? Clever stuff, you know. No? Okay. You're going to take my word for it, aren't you? That's what you are, aren't you? No, yeah, no, yeah, no. Yeah, but no, but. All right, here we go. So I'm just going to clamp it into place. Like so. Just for the purpose of marking out. There you go. Tight, I don't want to slide it. No, that's there. That's there. Right. Now, I'm going to use my marking knife. Where is it? Oh, there it is. Phew. That was nearly a catastrophe. This is my Kiradashi marking knife. I made out of an old saw blade. There's a video on this channel about that. I'm just going to a couple of swipes on the diamond stone. A bit more back there. Just to make sure it's sharp. And then we're going to mark it all the way around. I'll also highlight it with a pencil as well. And the bit about this is it's right-handed. The bevel is on this face there. Okay? And that way that face is flat. So I can place it flat up against my workpiece and then mark the workpiece. Like so. Now, when I use them, I use quite a bit of pressure. I don't want to follow the grain of the actual of a piece of wood, this piece of wood here. If I put it too vertical, it's going to try and follow the grain. So what I'm trying to do is use more of a slicing action with the blade, like so. I'm going to do that on the other faces, on the other faces, like so. Exactly the same. I'm using the flat of the blade up against the bow tie, and then I'll just few light strokes that way until I'm confident I've got a mark. There's going to be quite. There's a risk I could end up chipping little bits out because the way we're going to do this is going to be aesthetic. I'm not going to sink this all the way down. No, I'm going to do it part way, most of the way, but have a little bit, so it's a little bit high. And that's for the aesthetics of it, to make a point of it being there. Now, if it's a worktop or something like that, obviously you're not going to want to do that because you can end up having a lump in the way. You might not want that. So let's move that like so in there. Oh. Like so. There you go. And that one on there. I've already done that one's good. On the back face here. And then I'm going to use a pencil as well. Just to oh, gone in my foot. Oh crikey. I stabbed my foot. Not really. So that's walnut, The studs or little rivets going through it are actually stainless steel bolts that I've ground back with the heads and also the excess length. So the reason for that is that the threads of the bolt with arrow light will lock into the handles, sort of handles splaying. So you don't need to actually taper, like you would do a rivet and sort of bell the ends over. So just for visual purposes, so I can see what I'm doing, so I don't end up mistaking the line that I created with the marker knife with the actual with the grain. So just go around there a few times just to make sure of it, and now I can unclamp that. And now I've got, and also what makes sure you can see it. So you can see the lines there, can't you, all the way around there? And I can see from where I am, I can see where my cut lines are. I know, for instance, that this pencil line is on the right hand side of my marking knife's line. Now you could use a Stanley knife or something like a box knife to do all your marking, but remember that's got a bevel on both sides. You're more at risk of not being exactly where you need to be. Now you could argue, well, you just tip the blade in a little bit, but when you do that, you see, you are at risk of actually putting that the cut, like the actual line, not line, the edge underneath the bit you're trying to mark, so it ends up being too small. Do it the other way, it'll be too big. Too big, too small. Okay, we've got to chop this by hand, and I'm going to take the. I'm going to go around the outside edge. Now, I'm a bit concerned that this surface here is going to chip away because it's got old wormholes and stuff like that. So I'm going to have to be really careful. Now, if I wasn't pledging not to use a router or any power tools, I would router the bulk of this out first, just leaving the edges so I can clean the edges up with a sharp tool. But because I'm not, I'm just going to have to go with it, aren't I? Otherwise, I'd be a liar, and that's something I won't do. I won't lie. Nope, definitely not worth it. People always remember lies, Right, and there, I get straight lines in first, but I'm not necessarily going to remove all the material with this Sorby chisel. I'm just making sure I've got nice straight lines with it. Because if I use this little chisel here, I'm going to be all over the place, aren't I? No me. The outside. Now you could just concentrate inside the line. Now, the other thing you've got to remember, when you're using a chisel here, like that, it's got a taper, isn't it? All right. Now, if you are using the chisel across the grain, no worries, it should go straight down. But if you're using the chisel along the grain, what happens? You'll end up going inwards. So sometimes, you'll go in the opposite direction of the bevel. So you effectively move that way. So you don't get too close to the line on the long grain, but on the cross grain, it isn't quite so much of a problem. That's what I found anyway. You might find something different. I was watching a short come up my feed, a new one by Rex Kruger. Now, don't get me wrong, I like Rex Kruger. I think he's quite a dude. When I watched him in Wallybois Wood, when I watched them two in a live stream together, I thought they had really nice banter. So I'm not dishing Rex Kruger, but he got something very. It was just wrong what he was saying, unless it's different in the United States. But he was calling bugle-headed screws, which were plasterboard construction screws. That was bugging me. Silly, isn't it? It's all about the video. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to just gently take material up to the edge, all the way around. I don't want to go crazy in the middle because this could break out into that edge. So I want to try and create some clearway around the edge because it's very vulnerable, this piece of wood, especially on the surface. Inside it's hard as rock. It's over 100 years old and it's solid oak. So it's it's. So I'm just going to literally take it. Can you see the way I'm holding the chisel? That's how I do it anyway. You might like to do it differently, but I find it gives me good control. Okay, we're getting there. I've got to speed this up. Okay. Well, I think we're there. If we put the right way around. No, it was that way. Well, yeah, I think that's it. Now, what you can do, if you wanted to, you could actually, well, ebonise if you want to make even more contrast between the two timbers. They're both oak. They're both French oak. This is extremely old. And it feels quite tight. So what we're going to do is just pare out the corners a little bit. Make sure there's no lumps there. Now, I don't want this flush. It's going to stick up higher than the actual piece of wood itself. You don't have to do it that way. You can make it flush if you want. If it's, say, for instance, a tabletop or something like that, where you don't want to have anything that's going to make your glass of wine tip over. Now, you whack a bit of glue in there, you would, and then you'd place it in there like so, and hopefully that'll tap down. It's a good idea to spread the weight as you do it, the load, as you tap it down into place. So put a block of wood over the top and see what we get. I haven't put any glue in because this is just for demonstration purposes. I don't want glue everywhere. See, and you see it's still raised by about 3/16 or about 3 or 4 mil all the way around. That's what I want. I want to make a feature of it. So if, say, for instance, on a door or something, make it really tactile. It'd be quite nice. Now, I don't want necessarily all these kind of strange edges showing. So what I'll do is I'll grab a chisel, like this one here, and I'll pare those edges to, take the arises off, basically, all the way around. Now, if you wanted to, you could actually ebonise it as well, to even make more of a feature of it. So you can make it black by ebonising it. Basically, wire wool and a bit of vinegar, soak it in there for a little bit, and it'll turn it black before you put it into its mortise. So on the side, so just put a bit of relief on there by taking the arises off. Just makes it look a bit nicer. You could use a smaller chisel if you wanted to, but I think I've got more control with a bigger chisel than I do with a small one. So there you go, and it's sharp. Now, I'm going down the grain because I don't want to hook up against the grain of the actual dovetail itself. So I'll just literally pare that way, like so. There, and that one. And the end grain. Now, like I say, you don't have to have it raised. You can do it flush and just sand it flush if you like. That's how I like to do it. If it's not something where it's going to affect the actual use of your project. Now be careful here, because you're at risk of breaking the end grain off. Or break that bit of grain, because the grain is going that way. So that corner there, the pointy bit, is vulnerable. Take it really, really ginger. Maybe come back around on yourself and finish off that way like so. There you go. A little bit of sanding. I'm using one of them a scourer pad, sanding pad. These things are great if you plumbing and what have you, but it's good for woodworking as well, you know. Just get rid of all that. Smooth it off. Oh, feels lovely now. Get rid of the highs and the lows. There you go. Oh, that's really smooth. Knock the dust out. What do you reckon of that? Looks right, doesn't it? So make a feature of it, you see. I think it looked better if I ebonised it and made it black. Maybe not quite so pronounced, but you know, for the purpose of the video, you can see what I'm on about. We've got this kind of rustic look going on here. You don't necessarily want it smooth and try and make it flush or everything else, when everything else is all lumpy. It's like a wart on your derriere. Sticks out like a sore thumb, it does, yeah. Yeah. Or the cat's anus. Or is it a chocolate starfish? I don't know, whatever you like to call it these days. So there you go, that is the dovetail repair, or the bow tie, I should say, actually, bow tie repair in this piece of wood. Anyway, you tell me what you think. Please leave it in the comments down below. Because I do read the comments, but you probably already know. But please put the old like button, because it helps the channel, you know. Toodaloo.